Hey everybody, it's Matt from You and Your Horror Movies, and welcome to day 9 of my 31 Days of Horror. Yes, for day 9, I decided to go a little different route and go the Asian route. Some people could think this is a horror film, some people could think it's more sci-fi film. Me, it's in my horror collection. I think it's a pretty badass, fun little flick, and this is from 1991. Toho put out this movie. What it was, they were working on a direct-to-video line, and this was their first movie to do a direct-to-video, and into the 90s. And unfortunately, it didn't do so well. So, I think this was the only one in its series, and then they stopped doing the direct-to-video. Of course, it had competition with Godzilla films because of Toho, so it kind of left under in the dust kind of a little bit. But without further ado, from 1991, Mikadroid Robokill beneath Disco Club Layla. Yes, that is the name of this title of this film. Pretty much with this movie, sorry for some glare here, takes place during World War II at first, around 1945, where the Japanese are working on a super soldier design. Little Captain America, but not. Well, they get 3 gentlemen. They're friends. They are working to become Olympians. They got the perfect physique for what they want done. Well, after some modifications are taken care of, especially to one individual, the Japanese decide to end the project. And in the meantime, during the war, the U.S. is bombing Tokyo area. And, of course, the scientist involved lets 2 of them go. He says, get the hell out of here, get free, do what you need to do. In the meantime, the 3rd guy, who's actually been customized into this robot that looks like a bronze Michelin man, is stuck inside. After the bombing, the place is obliterated and left. Well, now we go to the present, which is in the 90s. A disco club Layla, has been built over the old facility, which no one knows. It's way underground and everything. Well, of course, due to the disco club, all the electricity somehow shorts an old generator, and of course, it activates the robot. The robot is still designed for its old 1940s orders to kill. Doesn't matter who. So, of course, this thing pretty much stays in the basement of the disco club. Of course, some people are in the basement of the garage, and they start getting picked off one at a time. Meanwhile, the 2 that survived from World War II have not aged, and also somehow have this, they call it an awakening, where they must now come to find their fallen comrade to stop him from killing people, because they know what he has become and everything. So they're like super soldier versus super soldiers. So anyway, this Mikadroid is armed with a samurai sword, submachine guns, pistols, grenades. He's like a walking armory. It's this big weird fat robot, which looks awesome. So of course people are getting killed in some cool ways. I do like some of the ways how people died in this film. Pretty funny. And the special effects were done great. It's all practical effects, and how everything worked out great for this film. I'm surprised it did so poorly. But then again, back then, everything was all 90s, was a different route back then. So who knows what we got. So this one was the only one from the direct-to-video. So Mikadroid. It was kind of neat. This DVD has some cool special features. It's got some trailers, artwork gallery, photo gallery, the making of specials, interviews with the director, the gentleman who worked with props and guns, artistry, a lot of different interviews. And of course, they talked about how the movie was originally supposed to be made into a real horror film with a zombie, that was called Mikadroid during the World War II. But they said during that time in the 90s, there was a real serial killer, going around killing children. And it influenced a bunch of horror films. They were afraid that it wasn't going to do so well because of the incident, so they decided to make it into more of a sci-fi flick. To me, I could say this definitely fits in the horror film. You have yourself a genetically altered individual turned into a robot going around murdering people. Now, this is also all in Japanese audio. There is English subtitles, so you have to read it. But it's great. It flows fine. There's not a lot of words flashing in front of you quick and back and forth. Don't let subtitles freak you out. They're a great time to watch. I know some people have a hard time reading and watching, but once you get it down, you'll have yourself a good time. Definitely. So it does have a lot of good blood. It has one couple scenes with nudity involved, so you definitely have that. You can probably find some of the kills on YouTube. I definitely recommend checking those kills out to see what you're getting into, because this movie is a lot of fun. Out of a possible 10, I give this one an 8 out of 10. They can tell there was use of modeling, especially since Toho is great with models. You can definitely tell which one had models in it. Now, also, there is a cameo, which I don't know. Horror director, I'm going to say this all wrong, so I apologize. Kiyoshi Kurosawa. I guess he directed the original Pulse, Cure, and a movie called Charisma. Now, I'm not familiar with Charisma, but I am familiar with Pulse, and I think Cure, maybe not. So maybe just one of them I'm aware of. So I guess he has a little cameo in this film. And yeah, it's kind of neat. All practical done effects. You would think this was based on a manga, but it's not. It was just a direct, what they originally had wanted to do, switch things around, and put this movie out. So I think this was the only one, again, that was released for direct-to-video, and I highly recommend finding this DVD if you're into Asian horror, Asian robots. Even sometimes people put this in their takozatu type, because it's metal robots. Like, I remember seeing some video where they actually had this in their section if they want to put it, because it is a metal man going around. But other than that, I put this in my horror section because, yeah, that's what it is. It's, excuse me, definitely got that sci-fi-ness, but it's got a lot of horror elements to it. So again, from 1991, Mikadroid Robokill beneath Disco Club Layla. Awesome title. So guys, definitely check this movie out. I highly recommend it. Thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for more Days of Horror. Thanks guys. Have yourself a good one, and let me know in the comments down below your thoughts if you've seen it or not. Peace.